जानी, आज हम 2019 फोर्ड फीगो ब्लू चलाएंगे। अब क्योंकि हम राजकुमार हैं, गाड़ी भी हम चलाएंगे, इसके बारे में बताएंगे भी हम, और तुम जानी देखोगे। हाँ,
Hot hatchbacks, what an exciting category of cars this is, and that's what we've got on the menu today. The car we are driving today is the 2019 Ford Figo Blue Edition, and what a better place to drive this Blue Edition from the Blue Oval Company than in the beautiful city of Jodhpur, that is also known as the Blue City. Now on the face of it, the Figo doesn't look radically different from the outgoing model. It still has the same silhouette that the older car has, but then again there are a lot of changes. To be precise, 1200 of them, which Ford claims is about 50% of the car. So they say 50% of this car is entirely new. Now what are these changes and how will they benefit you or improve your driving experience? That's what we're going to find out on the show today. So now let's start discussing the changes in detail, and first of all let's talk about design. Now if you look up front, what you see here is a studded grille. It's completely blacked out and Ford likes to call it a cellular grille. Now this looks sporty, goes very well in line with the sporty dynamic, the positioning of this car. Apart from that, like the name suggests, it's the Figo Blue Edition, so you do get this blue inserts here around the fog lamp. It just is a visual treatment that makes sure that people know you're driving the Blue Edition. Moving further, in conjunction with its sporty theme, you also have bigger alloy wheels on the car now. Now these are 15-inch alloy wheels opposed to the 14-inch ones that you used to have on the earlier model. So as a result of that, there have also been some minor changes to the suspension, but that is something we'll discuss more in length once we drive the car. Alright, so now let's talk about the driving experience of the new Figo, and this is the area where the new Figo really shines. Now what do you get in terms of engine options? Well, there's a lot of it on the spread. What you get is 2 petrol engines and 1 diesel engine. Now in terms of petrol engine, you get the new 1.2 liter Dragon series engine here. Now this develops a healthy 96 PS of power, which is a class leading power output, and you also have the option of going in for a 1.5 liter petrol engine, which has a power output of more than 120 horsepower and is mated to an automatic transmission. Well, that is not the car we're driving. We're driving the one with the 1.2 liter Dragon engine and the 1.5 liter diesel engine. Now if you talk about the new 1.2 liter Dragon engine, well, this engine is really smooth, and in terms of power, it has more than what you would need on a car like this. So in terms of overtaking maneuvers on highway, well, you're never going to have a problem. In terms of drivability, the gearbox, well, it's matched well to the engine. You've got a 5-speed manual gearbox here, and the ratios are well matched to the engine, so you don't really struggle even when you're driving in traffic, in slow moving traffic or in bumper to bumper traffic. The overall performance is quite nice and impressive from the car. Now since this is the most powerful petrol engine in its segment, well, what you get is a car that is really fun to drive. Add to it the fact that the Figo is a really nice handling car. It has been set up very nicely. You can really push it around corners and all you will get is utmost joy. The Figo really holds its line through corners. There's a lot of grip in the car, and if you talk about body roll, well, there's not much of it, so it does feel like a hot hatch. In fact, it is a hot hatch. You're getting almost 96 PS of power, an overall great package which handles well, so you can really go around corners fast on this car, a lot faster than you could imagine doing on a B segment car right now in India. And talking about the diesel engine, well, it's the same tried and trusted 1.5 liter TDCI diesel engine. You get about 100 PS of power output, 250 Newton meters of torque, and it is mated again to a manual gearbox. Performance is what you get in other Ford cars. So yes, it is one of the sportiest diesel engines in its segment. So a lot of good performance. The acceleration is quite nice, and it is again a fun to drive engine. Now, while the diesel engine is the same and we told you about the performance, the new thing about the diesel powertrain is the addition of a new manual gearbox. So the gearbox that you get is different from the older Figo. It's an entirely new unit and the gearbox performs really nice. Now the shifts are quite smooth, the throws aren't too long. There's a good clunk, the mechanical clunk feeling you get when you're shifting aggressively. So that really goes along well with the sporty positioning of Figo and adds a lot to the sporty character of the car, and that is a really nice thing about the new Figo. Now, apart from driving performance, the other area where the Figo really scores well is safety. Now, safety is an area where Ford has been doing a lot of work in the last few years, and it has been known for offering safe cars, and that is what you get in the Figo as well. So if you opt for the base variants or the lower variants, you will get dual airbags at the front and ABS with EBD standard. And if you do opt for the top variant, which we are driving right now, you will get 6 airbags, which just enhances the overall safety. And if you opt for the 1.5 litre with the automatic transmission, you also get traction control, hill launch assist, which further improves your safety quotient. In terms of reverse camera, well, again, there is a nice reverse camera. The resolution is quite nice. You can easily see the rear view on the display screen, and you also have grid lines to assist and make parking and getting out of tight spot easier. So now that we've already spoken about the design and the performance of the new Figo, let's talk about the interiors. And unlike the performance where the Figo really stood out, interiors is not really its forte. Now the reason why I say is because of the lack of features a lot of its competitors have and the Figo misses out on. If you start off with the overall layout, well, you do have a nicely fit and a good looking dashboard, which of course has decent build quality and material quality as well. Now the key change inside the interior is the inclusion of a new touchscreen. Now this is a 7-inch color touchscreen and it really looks the part. It has been integrated very nicely into the center console, looks nice, adds a lot of premium flair to the cabin, and of course if you talk about the touch response, it is good to use as well. Now, while all of this is good, the point where it really misses out is the absence of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Now this is something that the Figo's key rivals, the Maruti Suzuki Swift, the Hyundai Elite i20, both of these cars have as an offering, and this misses out. So in terms of connectivity, what you get here is Bluetooth, aux, USB, and of course navigation is inbuilt. So that is a good thing, but missing out on Android Auto, Apple CarPlay is a big miss in my view. Now coming to the rest of the interiors, well, if you talk about this instrument cluster, again it's a decent looking unit. It gives you a good and a clear readout of all the vital informations. But again, it's a very basic looking unit. So at a time where cars today in this segment have a digital color TFT screen in between, flanked by the speedometer and the tachometer, and with loads of information on offer, what you get here is a basic display with an analog tachometer and a speedometer and an analog fuel gauge. There is a small digital display which gives you a lot of information like your odometer, trip meter, time, fuel efficiency, range, all of that is there, but it's a very basic looking unit. It just doesn't have the flair that some of the other cars in this segment have. But apart from these shortcomings, well, the rest of the interior, there is nothing to complain about. The build quality is solid. It feels as if it will last for years. And in terms of cabin spaces too, again, there's a lot of smart integration. There are a lot of places where you can place your small things and your items, your smartphone, your wallet, your sunglasses, a lot of space for that. Even the door pockets can easily accommodate large 1-liter bottles and a lot more. Of course, in terms of the change, this is the Figo Blue, so you do get new seat covers and the blue branding here. There's a new design for the seat covers. So yes, it does give a slightly fresher appeal to the cabin. But apart from that, the other things remain the same as the Figo, and that's not much to complain about, except for the fact that the few features that we just discussed that are missing in the Figo should have been there. So now we're in the rear seat of the Figo Blue, and just like at the front, you also get at the rear these blue inserts, which signify that this is the Blue Edition, and you do get a new design for the seat covers. So that is what tells you that this is the Blue Edition. But apart from that, if you talk about new changes, there's not much. And in terms of space, well, again, the car is going to keep you or rather most people happy, because if I talk about space, the driver's seat is adjusted to my driving preference, and 5 feet 8 inches is my height for reference, and you can see I have a lot of leg room to spare. I also have a lot of space to slide my legs under the driver's seat, and that is going to prove helpful on long journeys. Now, what improves the leg room here is the fact that the front seats have been scooped out massively, so that liberates a lot of leg room. In terms of headroom too, the Figo delivers perfectly fine, because there is no coupe sort of a roof line, and that means that headroom is not going to be compromised. So even if you're someone who's 6 feet tall, you will not find any problems here whatsoever. The seat itself is excellent. I think this is one of the best rear seats in the segment. The cushioning is very nice, and the under thigh support is nice. The backrest angle is good, so you will find yourselves to be comfortable over long journeys. However, that said, there are a few things, just like at the front, at the rear, that the Figo Blue misses out on. You do not get any options at the rear to charge your devices. All you get is a 12-volt charging socket and a USB point up front. You do not have any rear AC vents, and the rear doors do not have any door pockets at all. So all you get in terms of storage space is this place here in the center console, at the end of the center console, for a bottle. Apart from that, there is no other space in the door pockets, and that is a big miss in my opinion. So with all the details discussed about the 2019 Ford Figo, it is time to give you a conclusive statement as to what the Ford Figo gives you in terms of an upgrade. Well, compared to the older model, the new one has evolved a lot. It gives you a mildly updated design, looks slightly better, more premium. The interiors get a significant change. You get a new infotainment system. It's better than earlier, but there are some things that it misses out on, which we have earlier discussed, and that is what holds it back from being one of the best in its segment when it comes to cabin experience. But apart from that, if you talk about overall safety, it delivers the best. It is right up there with the top of the segment, and we do not know the price yet, but by the time you see the video, the prices should be at the bottom of the screen. We expect the prices to be somewhat similar to the outgoing model with a slight increment, and if that happens, the Ford Figo does make a strong case for itself. Add to it the fact that Ford claims the Figo is the car with the lowest maintenance cost in its segment, and in terms of servicing too, first year all you need to pay is 1,500 bucks. Even in the 5th year, you need to pay about 3,500 rupees. Add to it the fact that you can opt for a 5-year maintenance package. This gives you a complete hassle-free ownership experience. And as far as performance is concerned, well, as late Rajkumar Sahab would have said it, Jani, गाड़ी चलाने का शौक रखते हो तो ये दमदार है, जानदार है, शानदार है। ये गाड़ी तेज है, इसमें पेस है और ये सेफ है।